Out of all the lazy, greedy, and uninspired horse shit to come out in the past few months, Sifu and Elden Ring feel so refreshing, with game developers who are actually passionate about their product. While I'm making a fat video about Battlefield 1, I've decided to make a little review on this fantastic game. Sifu is about a young kung fu student whose father and family was murdered by outcast students. Acquiring a medallion pendant that prevents death, although not entirely immortal, you are set on a quest for revenge towards every intruder that night who hurt your family. The plot is explained within a few minutes, but for the people who can't even fathom to get behind a game's story, it's Kung Fu Ass-Beating Simulator. Sifu isn't anything new exactly. You will be familiar with most mechanics if you like many beat-em-up style games, and especially if you like Sekiro. Sifu takes elements from many other games, implementing them and sometimes making them better. Everyone is familiar with the Assassin's Creed and Batman style of combat. Sifu, thank God, does not make it nearly as trivialized by making a stupid fucking light that shines over every single enemy attack, but instead forces you to read the enemy and react accordingly with either parry or a dodge that has 3 directions. Sekiro is one of my favorite games ever, and Sifu borrows the posture meter from it, and in my opinion, makes it better. The concept is still there. Parrying or deflecting enemies' attacks raises their structure meter, as well as maintaining the offense, with blocked attacks still raising it. When the enemy's structure is high enough, you'll be able to go for a takedown. I think structure, posture, whatever you want to call it, will probably be a staple in many future brawler games, rewarding you for your timing and knowledge of enemy attacks. On the topic of combat, it is one of the 2 things Sifu does extremely well, along with presentation. You are always engaged, and the game does its best to keep you not bored with the introduction of new enemies presented as mini-bosses, as well as the constant traversing through arenas to beat some ass with your kung fu skills. Fighting is fantastic. It's responsive, fluid, and absolutely brutal, filled with bone cracks, face kicks, and throat punches. Unfortunately for you, this game has the same problem that Uganda does. The fuck's he talking about? Oh, well, I thought everyone knew that.
Everybody in Uganda knows Kung Fu!
Don't let anybody tell you different. This game is hard. Enemies do not play fair and will gang up on you the first chance they get. I think that would be one of my only real complaints, is that getting backed up into a corner with some of the tougher enemies pretty much guarantees a death, as they throw out their fast and varied attacks. This of course can be argued with, get good shitter. That mostly relates to enemies that are much tougher though. I like the ganging up aspect, as it makes the game much more difficult and requires you to focus on reading attacks of multiple enemies at once, something Assassin's Creed and Batman were far too scared to attempt. Hey, just want to let you know that that guy right there, he's attacking. So if you press the counter button right now, then you won't get hit. So press the counter button on your controller keyboard like right now so you don't get hit. This brings me to counters in general, which I really like. You can parry almost any attack except for grabs, obviously, but what you can do with grabs and any other attacks is weave. Weaving is a great addition to counters. It's much easier than deflecting, as it has a bigger window of opportunity, and with every successful weave, it will subtract from your structure buildup. This is really cool. It allows for more options when fighting bosses. As you deflect boss attacks, your structure will build up very quickly. In order not to have your structure broken and allow the boss a free hit, you can weave some of their attacks to lighten the load, allowing for a surprising amount of strategic play, as well as general variety to how you engage in fighting. Next up is the presentation, which is just as strong as the combat. The 5 bosses you fight are all very unique with their special movesets. One of my favorites is Kuroki, I think she's called. Her presentation is absolutely insane. as well as the level itself. The blank white with the contrasting colors and art pieces, it's so pretty. By the way, last boss will absolutely fuck you. I have beat him twice, but it never felt like a real win. He's gonna kick your ass, but with his moveset and your experience, the fight has no problem being cinematic, really capturing what feels like two kung fu badasses going at it.
就这。别浪费我的时间。
Also, these hallway scenes where the camera pans out in the horizontal view are definitely a highlight and saved for only 2 occasions. Very smart move. I think my favorite level is probably the last, Sanctuary. That's where the final boss is. It's very aesthetically pleasing and well designed. In fact, all levels take inspiration from Souls-like games. When exploring new areas, you can get keys to open up shortcuts to boss fights. Even through death, you are still able to open these shortcuts. This is great, as you don't have to fight through every area you've been in if you don't want to. But you do have to sacrifice XP gained from enemies, as well as shrines, which allow you to upgrade your character.
老话说得好，千里之行，始于足下。
As you die in the game, you age. 1 age being added to every death, 1 being removed after every successful mini-boss fight and a boss stage. This shit is the best. I love this feature. Sometimes I let the first boss kill me over and over so I can play as the badass old man. Your guy, or girl, you can play as a girl too, can go all the way up to 75 years old. But after that, it's game over. As you reach a decade milestone like 30 or 40, your health decreases while damage increases. I'm going to draw more comparisons to Sekiro. Sorry, I just love the game to death, and these two are honestly pretty similar. But as you learn boss moves, you could beat them without taking any damage. But there was nothing to really discern you as the badass in Sekiro. You still look the same as you did when you started. This of course changed when the game added skins for boss gauntlets, and yeah, the Shura skin is fucking amazing. I'm not going to deny it. But the game was still the same. You could die as many times as you wanted and come back to life. I think Sifu captures the essence of what was missing from Sekiro in that term. Playing as an old man, especially a 75-year-old, shows mastery of the game. Your health is drastically decreased, you have less room for mistakes, as a death or two will be game over, but you are compensated with damage, because in the end, that's all you need. There is just something so beautiful about this simple concept that through all your blood, sweat, and tears in your quest to avenge Sifu, you become Sifu. Also, I think pretty much everyone enjoys the portrayal of badass old men in media. Most notable examples being the obvious Mr. Miyagi, who beat up dumb children with karate. And Mike from Breaking Bad. I mean, do I even need to say anything else?
Chow, you have anything you want to tell me?
Imagine for a second, you're this kung fu lady having a good time at your exclusive kung fu club. Then, someone's fucking grandfather, 71 years old, comes barging in and proceeds to absolutely take a shit on all of your boys. So you're like, okay, he's lucky, and or those guys weren't that good to begin with. I guess I gotta finish this shit now. Then he hits you with this line. You're a disgrace to your art? Oh, okay, old man. I'm gonna fucking demolish you.
你的艺术蒙羞。
NANI? Uh-oh.
So yeah, game's good. It gets an A. Fantastic. Go support your indie developers like Slowclap and buy Sifu. Also play in Chinese with English subtitles because the English voices are laughably bad. I don't even know why people like to play these kinds of games in English. Like Ghost of Tsushima, for example. You're a samurai slicing up Mongolians in 13th century Japan, and everyone is speaking perfect English. I don't know how that doesn't take people out of the experience. Anyway, game fucking rocks. Go buy it. It's $40.